you and good afternoon. Most of us here in this room are probably teachers or who have taught at some point in their life. And we may be excellent teachers in academics, but sometimes we wonder what's missing. We find that there is something lacking in the spirit of the classroom, in the spirit of the students. Today, I want to share with you a new way with which we can see the students, a new way with which we can help them evolve and help them progress into more spiritual, into more happy people. First of all, in the beginning, well, the universe, it's said, as the ancient philosophers used to say, in many parts of the world, that there were 4 elements. They were first explained by Aristotle, and later on they were developed more by Rudolf Steiner. The 4 elements are earth, water, wind, and fire. We've all heard of them. They are considered as the founding elements of everything, including the human personality. So in a person, there are these 4 elements, whether physically or psychologically. And what we will be covering in this presentation is the psychological aspect of these elements in a person. So each person has all these 4 elements in himself or herself, but at varying degrees. And sometimes a person is more fiery, sometimes a person is more calm, like water, or sometimes he's windy or positive, like the wind. We will get there and we will see how each person fits into one of these elements. Now, I want you to keep in mind that this was supposed to be a workshop, so it was supposed to be for a longer interval of time. So I'm trying to summarize everything into concise parts. So first of all, I'd like to start with the earth person. The earth person is generally just like the earth, very deep and stable. He is a very deep thinker, he excels in philosophy and thoughts, he is very direct and brief when talking, has a very good memory in what is related to himself, is very imaginative, and excels in writing dramas and stories. So what we can find from the earth person is that he likes to be safe, he likes to be stable. However, the earth person has some drawbacks. First of all, the earth person might be withdrawn. He doesn't like to interact with people much. He can be lazy. He holds grudges sometimes. He is very pessimistic, so he likes to see the negative side of things. He can be violent when things don't go his way, is very short-tempered, and might be prone to commit suicide if things don't really go his way. Now, to develop, as you can see, there are positive aspects for this personality. So in order to develop it in yourself, you must go through a certain challenge. It's called the Earth Challenge. Now, in order to develop the Earth personality in you and in your student, encourage them and yourself to read spiritual or religious books, to form your own philosophy of life, to find out what you believe in, to make it concise, make it direct. Listen to others and advise them, and write about your philosophy. When you do this, you are taking the Earth Challenge. You are developing the Earth personality in yourself. The second personality is the water personality, also called phlegmatic. Now, the water personality is the best person to deal with the earth person because the water person is patient. While the earth person is very stable in his mind and doesn't like to change much, the patience of the water helps him change. Therefore, if you have a student who fits into the earth personality, you should adopt a water personality. The water person is faithful, organized, dependable, and honest. He takes his time when doing something and thinks before he acts. He isn't hasty, and when he decides to do something, he finishes it. He also speaks very calmly. However, the water person has some drawbacks, such as he might be too slow. He doesn't deal well with new or unfamiliar topics, isn't very interested in the people around him or their problems, doesn't deal well with interruptions. When a water person is interrupted, it's like building a dam. The water will just stop there until someone else will remove the dam. So when someone else removes the blockage, the water will continue his way. He is sometimes very distant, and he tends to be lazy at times. Now, the challenge of the water is to do something that will require time and patience. When we say time and patience, we don't mean 1 hour or 1 day. We're talking about months. So you need to choose something that will take months for you to accomplish, because that would be your water challenge. And that would be the water challenge of your students. So if, for example, you give them a project that would take maybe 1 month or 2 months for them to finish, you are helping them develop their water personality. You can also have someone, or you, set a goal for your students, or someone set a goal for you, and you have to work to try and achieve it. Because as we said, the water person cannot really make choices. The water person needs someone else to make the choices so that he executes. As for the wind person, he is the best person to deal with the water person, because he or she can be very positive and motivating. So the motivation and the positive, the lively aspect of the wind person encourages the water person to work, encourages him or her to try and do something. Now the wind person believes in the good of people. He's very active, loves people, is very social, and does not cling to anger. However, the drawbacks of the wind person is that he may be, or she may be naive, forgets often, is sometimes shallow, gets angry quickly, gets bored easily, isn't responsible, as you can see in the picture, cannot lead, is rebellious, and changes his mind fairly often. Now the challenge of wind is to choose the positive side of things. It's just like the secret. You need to choose the positive side. Always try to see what's good. And to say yes to new things. Just like another movie, which is The Yes Man. Try and say yes to more things. To speak publicly in front of an unfamiliar audience, which is what I'm doing right now. And the wind challenge also can include joining a cause. Fight for something, try to fix something, because the wind person likes to be like that. As for the fire or choleric person, he is the best person to manage wind personalities because of his or her innovative energy. Now, the wind person likes new things, he likes to experience new things. Who will come up with these new things? It's the fire person. The fire person is straight to the point and doesn't like to waste time. If you understand the fire person is a good and generous friend. He's a born leader, excels at taking decisions, is intrinsically motivated, very self-confident, in charge of his own life, and talks directly and fluently. However, the fire person doesn't like to be limited, but limits others. He starts, but doesn't pursue a task to the end. So he has a lot of things to do, but he starts them and never finishes them. May tend to be bossy at times, believes that he is never wrong, gets angry quickly, is moody, is hasty, may be very dramatic when things don't go his way, and may get power corrupt if in a leadership position. So if a fire person becomes a president and is not controlled, he might become a dictator. Now the challenge of the fire person is to get yourself into a leadership position, to manage a group of people, and to try and come up with innovative ideas. Now, as you have seen, each personality is good with managing another personality. It's just like this picture here. You can see, in a way, the 4 elements. The first element we can see here is earth, which is the rock. But what shapes the rock, what gives this shape, is water. So water's patience helps change earth slowly but surely. Now, what makes water move? It's wind. Wind's positivity, liveliness, encourages water to persevere. But what makes wind move? It's heat. It's the sun. So it's fire. Fire's innovation inspires wind to market the ideas. But what controls fire? If we have a student who's a fire person in the classroom, what personality should we adopt in order to control the fire person? There is an entirely different personality who should help with that. Now the thing is that we are, in schools, actively murdering fire people. We are not helping leaders emerge in our classroom. That's because we ourselves aren't real leaders. We might be fire people, but we're not leaders. Because a true leader is a spirit. The spirit personality is the personality that can control them. So the wisdom of spirit is what can manage fire, is what can temper it and make it not fall into the bossy side, not fall into the dramatic or negative side of fire. But what is spirit personality? Spirit personality is the only element which has no drawbacks. It is, in a way, one of the perfect personalities. It is made up of the positive aspects of all four elements. It is as deep as earth, spacious as water, social as wind, and a leader like fire. So when a person has these four, that person can effectively manage anything, can effectively do anything. In order to develop the spirit element, the student must pass the challenge of the other elements. So, a person must go through the earth challenge in developing his own philosophy of life. He must go through the water challenge, which is to do something that requires patience, to do something which requires being positive and working with others socially, and to be in charge of something, to be a leader. Now, when a person has all these criteria, that person is effectively a spirit person. Now, the best spiritual leaders of all time had developed their spirit element. Like, for example, if we take the example of Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Mother Teresa, all those, they had the spirit element. Like, for example, let's take the example of Jesus. He was a leader. He was a choir person. He was able to lead lots of people. And he was also a wind person because he was social. He loved everyone. He was able to talk to everyone in their own ways. And he was also a water person. He was patient. He took his time. He helped others take their time. And also, he was an earth person because he was deep. He had his own philosophy. He had this depth. Now, in order to form a good group, like for example in a classroom, we can merge these elements together. This will also help the students become more spirit students. Like, we can have spirit and fire come up with the idea and plan, while wind spreads the idea and markets it. Now, when wind spreads this idea is caught by the water people. Water people execute the plan and start the process of change. But the most important part is the earth challenge. Because the earth is a negative person, the earth will challenge any idea that comes his way. And unless the idea can pass through earth, this idea is not valid nor useful. So the earth person will try to puncture this idea in different ways in order to see its validity. And if it succeeds, then it's a valid idea and it's a very successful plan. Thank you.